Hey everyone, I'm Evan Marks, and today I'll be going over my brochure on debt repayment strategies, tackling loans, credit cards, and more. It's very important that everyone learns about debt. With this presentation, it is my goal to target and educate college students about to graduate, or recent college graduates, and anybody else around that age. I want to stress the importance of debt and how to pay it off as we're about to enter the workforce, or as some might say, the real world. Let's start you guys off a little fun fact as well here. As of quarter three in 2025, American households carry $18.585 trillion in total debt. That averages out to about $105,000 per household. Just think about it. That is a lot of money. So, in order to understand the strategies to pay off debt, we first have to understand what debt is itself. So, when a consumer borrows money from a lender, they commit to repaying that amount in the future, and that amount that you will repay in the future is considered the debt. Majority of the time, when you have to pay off that debt in the future, there is a cost of borrowing associated with that. And that cost of borrowing is called interest. So, say you have $100 debt, you have to pay 10% interest, you'll pay $10, which is 10% of the $100. You'll pay your $100 debt, that 10% or that $10 interest at the other, it's $110 total. So, you have to learn how to prioritize your debt before you want to pay it off. There are two types of debt. You have your secured debt and you have your unsecured debt. Your secured debt is backed by collateral. So, when a borrower borrows from a lender, they back that debt with a valuable asset. That valuable asset may be a house, a car, etc. So, an example, lender can take that house that you have backed as collateral if you're not paying your mortgage, which is that loan that they gave you. So, with the lender, they will offer a lower interest rate with secured debts, as it's not as risky. That lender can come and take your house, boom, they got their money back. Unsecured debt is opposite. There is no collateral. So, unsecured debts may be credit card or personal loans. The lenders tend to charge a higher interest rate as there's more risk with this. They don't have a car or house to come and take. They're out of that money, so they got to charge you higher interest rate. An example of this, a credit card may or credit card, a borrower may be granted a credit card based on their credit worthiness. So if you're able to pay off that credit, you have a higher credit score, you'll get that credit card. So now that you know your two types of debt, you have your two ways of paying it off. You have your snowball method. So with the snowball method, you want to work towards paying off those smallest debts first and then work up towards those highest debts. This works for consumers with minimal debt. You don't have that many debts to pay off, so let's just go ahead and get those small ones out of the way and get it paid off. It's also psychological, in the fact that for somebody that hasn't paid off debts in the past, you know what? Let's get this small debt paid off first, and let's work our way up towards those higher debts. Yay, we got the ball rolling. You can do this. Let's get another one. Avalanche method. That's the opposite of snowball. This one, you're working at paying off your highest debts first, and then working your way down to your lowest debts. In the end, this is the quickest and shortest method of repayment, as mathematically, it saves you the most because you're paying off those higher debts. They're not collecting interest. Those smaller debts, they have smaller amounts, smaller interest rates. It won't be as much if you started with those. However, the downfall is it could take a little bit before you pay off that first debt. But once you pay off that first debt, you got it gone. So repayment. Now that you know the two types of debts and the ways to pay them off, you're going to want to prioritize that debt. So you have both secure debt and unsecured debt. You want to focus on paying off that secure debt first because it is backed by that collateral. You would much rather get a letter from a debt collector saying, hey, you owe us some money on this credit card than having a debt collector come and take your car or your house. And now you don't have any way of transportation or you don't have a roof over your head. So that house and car, that's that secured debt. Work on paying that off first if you got that. We can deal with some letters, some nasty letters from the debt collectors. But if you have unsecured debt, you do want to focus on the ones with the higher interest rates. Unsecured debt, those credit cards, they can stack up high interest rates. They can get upwards of 30%. That's a lot of money. So that'll add up, but you got to pay it off. So now that you know what debt is, two different types of debt, way to pay off that debt, which debts to focus on when. You're probably wondering, all right, I know all that. How do I save money to go after those debts? Well, to pay off your current debts, you need to start saving and allocating money towards them, which you can do by building a budget. If you already have a budget, you need to make one. You've probably heard of one or how to do it, but most people don't actually have a budget. Regardless of your financial situation, it's crucial to know how much money's coming in, how much money's going out, and where it's being allocated. So to begin budgeting, you just want to track your expenses, and then the money that you have left over is your discretionary cash flow. You have fixed expenses, which is like rent, and your variable, which is like eating out. Real life application, instead of eating that lobster and steak for dinner at a nice restaurant with friends and family, you can save money by going to the grocery store and getting that beef and rice. Save a lot more money and put that money towards your debt. These two links here at the end, those will take you to two websites that talk a little bit more about depth or about debt and go a little bit more in depth. Before we leave, I'd like to leave you guys with a little tip: the 50-30-20 rule. Investors recommend you save 50% of your earnings and allocate that towards your needs, like your rent, 30% towards your wants, like eating out and entertainment. And then the other 20%, you'll want to save that. You want to allocate that towards your debts. So, with all that, I hope you guys take these next steps for tackling your restrictive debt, which will be the first steps towards your financial freedom. Thank you.